Hello and welcome to your Living A Course in Miracles call. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm here in San Antonio, Texas with
Sue-Ann Knobloch.
And we are excited about today's call because we are discussing chapter 12, I believe. Chapter 12, the second 30 minutes. So we're talking about minutes 30 through 60 of chapter 12. And quite frankly, the content is just fire. It is just so good. And you know, if you've read it or watched this video, how freaking awesome it is. So I can't wait to share with you my highlights from my notes, and everybody else I'm sure has highlights. Now, if you have not watched or listened or read or listened to it, that's okay. You can still share maybe your highlights of what you're hearing right now. But for those of you who are watching the replay, we are basically following along this book here. This is called Ken Wapnick Journey Through the Text. It's 4 volumes, and it matches the YouTube video. So the YouTube video that we're studying is actually found in the description of this video. It's a link within a video, but it's Ken Wapnick talking about each chapter of the text of A Course in Miracles. And quite frankly, it just makes it so much easier to understand. He takes take my personal understanding of it from here to way up here. I totally get it after I read it through Ken's commentary. And so, yeah, it's just such a high value thing. So before we get started with talking about the content, I want to welcome everybody who's a first-time caller or first-time visitor on our Zoom call. And we're going to do 1-minute introductions, 1 minute or less. And so I'm going to have a little timer here, and we just want to know your name, where you're calling in from, and why you are excited about today's call. So who wants to go first?
Hey, it's Nathan.
Nathan.
Hey, it's Nathan. I'm in Minneapolis. I'm excited to talk to you guys about Kenneth Wapnick. Thanks.
Thank you, Nathan. That was like 10 seconds. That was amazing.
Woo.
And thank you for hosting all the calls that I can't be on as well. We really, really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. You rock. Let's go.
I rock.
You do. All right. Who's next?
Okay, I'm Sue-Ann Knobloch. I'm over here in San Antonio, and I live 3 miles from Jared here. So we've kind of palled up and started doing these whenever I'm in town, he's in town, whatever. And I have been, I got the books in 1989, my little history, and didn't kind of hardly know what the heck it was even saying till I got Disappearance of the Universe in 2004. And then still probably took another 10 years before I even started to do forgiveness. So I think I'm a slow learner. So, and that is the only thing I ever do, the only spiritual practice. I don't really read any other spiritual books. This is it. That's
Sweet.
It. Right.
Love it. Thank you, Sue-Ann. Okay. Who's next?
Barbara.
Did Barbara raise her hand? I'm going to unmute you, Barbara.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Oh, Carolina.
Hello, my name is Carolina Ramirez. I'm from Bogota, Colombia. And this is the first time that I'm meeting in this group. So I'm so excited. But please speak a little slow because you speak so fast and it's really hard to me understand. I know that my English is not the best, but I will try. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much, Carolina. Welcome, and we will definitely talk slow as we can. And we are happy that you're here. We are honored that you joined us all the way from Bogota, Colombia.
Your English is great.
Yes, your English is great.
Thanks.
Okay, who's next? Okay, I think Barbara raised her hand. I just unmuted you, Barbara.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Go ahead. Yes.
Hi. Well, I wasn't here last week. I was actually going through a dark night of the soul.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And through that time, I had very big doubts about A Course in Miracles being the right spiritual tool for me. And so I went through about 3 days, and I never stopped listening to it during the 3 days that I was in doubt, which may say something. I came around to definitely coming back here tonight and enjoying writing up what I wrote about chapter 12. But I'll share that in the next and I'm from Westchester, New York.
Yay! And you did it under a minute. Great job. Great job. Thank you, Barbara. And by the way, that dark night of the soul thing, that happens especially when the ego feels threatened. And
Oh,
so
yes.
you're doing
I know
all this work.
it's a standard operating happening for awakening.
Oh, and you're such a beast on all this content.
Well, I'm going to tell you
so
my
hard.
next leg. I'll tell you my next leg.
All right. Well, anyway, I could see why the ego's threatened with you. That's all I got to say.
Good.
All right.
Thank you so much. That was
Yes.
the nicest thing you could say.
Okay. All right. Who's next?
Can you hear me, Jared?
Yes. Who's this?
Hi, this is Susan from Arizona. I'm on a call or on my iPhone as opposed to the computer.
Okay. Hi, Susan. Welcome.
Hi, Suanne.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Good. I'm Susan from Arizona, and I'm pretty new to the Ken Wapner books. So I bought them, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something, but I haven't read them religiously like I did the course. So I'm kind of new to them, and I'm absolutely loving Ken Wapner. He's awesome.
Love it, Susan. Well, big welcome. I'm glad you're here. I know
Thanks.
you've been very consistent on the calls lately, and that's exciting.
Yay. Good. Happy
Yay.
to be here.
Yes, happy to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next?
Oh,
Everyone's doing so
how
good.
do I unmute myself, Jared? How do I mute myself again? Do you know on the phone?
I don't. I'm going to mute. I will mute you.
Please do.
Star 6.
Okay. Oh, Nathan says *6, I guess.
Okay, because I'm afraid my dog will bark. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. All right. Next, who wants to tell us your name, where you're calling in from, why you're excited about today's call?
I can go.
All right.
Matt from Minnesota. I'm excited to just get together with you guys again. Like Barbara too, I've just came so far in the last 6 months, and it's like you got to get better. It gets worse before it gets better. That's how it's like everything's been going for me. I shared some of my puppy problems on the forum, and I'll just leave it at that. So that's Matt from Minnesota. Nice to be here with all you guys again.
Glad you're here, Matt. You've been killing it too, bro. Love it. Thank you. All righty. Who's next? Lori, Marianne, or Nina?
I'll go.
Okay. Hello,
Sorry,
Marianne.
I was trying to find the unmute, but hi, I'm so happy to see all of you again for the second time. So I'm new to the group, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm just so grateful to have found you, and you're really helping me on my journey. So
Yay.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and we're grateful we found you too. So, and I hope you can come visit us in San Antonio, April.
Yeah. I've got my Texas shirt
Oh,
on.
heck yeah. Oh, you're ready. You better bring that to San Antonio.
Yeah, it's my daughter's, but I won't tell her.
Oh, don't tell her. Don't tell her. It's all an illusion anyways.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Marianne. All right. Nina or Lori, would either of you like to go? Okay, Nina, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'm Nina. Full name is Nina, actually. I've been studying the course for about almost 2 years now and have seen a tremendous shift in my projection here on this wild and crazy plane. And I've known about Jared for a while. I just couldn't attend on Friday, so now I'm free. So I'm here and just checking it out. So thanks so much.
Yay. I was just telling Sue Ann, I was like, I met Nina like 2 years ago, and she's a singer, and she's got this great gig in Baja California, and she hasn't been on for like 2 years. I guess the gig must have ended or something.
Yeah,
And
I moved.
It moved. Oh, even better. So it didn't even cancel. It just moved. So you still have the gig, and now you can be on. So that's even better. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And Lori, would you like to say hello? You don't have to. There's not forced sharing. But I don't know if, oh, she says, I don't think you can hear me. I'm going to try and unmute you. Okay, I just unmuted you, Lori.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay. I still can't hear you anyway. I'm calling from Los Angeles. This is my first time. I read A Course in Miracles in the early 90s, understood every word, had no idea what it meant. And like most of you, I picked up Disappearance of the Universe and got back into Course in Miracles. And I'm another person that for about the last 10 years, I'm not sure what I've been doing. But I listened to it again on Audible and found out that Gary had written a bunch more books. And I'm doing the workbook, and I'm excited to be here.
Yay. Oh my God. Well, welcome. And that is a great story. Thank you for sharing your evolution of understanding the Course. I think it's very similar to all of us that it's like once we heard the Gary Renard works, it was like, okay, game on. And
Yes.
without that, I know myself, I just put the book aside. I didn't even crack it. I didn't even look at it until I heard Disappearance of the Universe. Thank you, Lori.
If my granddaughter were here, she could help me with the sound and the camera and all that. But this is what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, you made it. You're here, and that's what counts.
Thanks.
Glad you're
Happy
here.
to be
Yes. What part of Los Angeles are you?
Culver City.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll talk later because I know that Gary has a. It's actually Cindy's sister has a Course in Miracles group in LA that you could potentially plug into too, like in person.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it'd be kind of a neat opportunity since you're out there. Okay, well, let's get started with the the content. I just want to make sure we've heard from everyone. I think we have. So let's just go ahead and do like 3 minutes or less sharing, and that should take us about 30 minutes to go through with everybody. And I will start. So turn on this timer. I could go for 10. I might actually just do my own live video in the group like I did like the other day, because I have so much to share that anyway, I'm gonna do 3 right now. Okay, here we go. So chapter 12, that's the 30 minutes that I didn't even get through all 30 minutes like with a fine-tooth comb. I still have some work to do, but here's my notes. I'm gonna actually read them kind of like in backwards order. So check out some of this stuff. Okay, guilt told me to anticipate God's vengeance. So like I'm always afraid of like something in the future that's gonna come and punish me, right? Like getting in trouble for something in business or in health or something's gonna come get me. Guilt told me to anticipate God's vengeance. However, there is no guilt and there's no need to fear punishment. It is the anticipation that's the problem. It is the anticipation of punishment that causes fear. Since there is no guilt, there can be no punishment, hence no fear. So I really can identify with the anticipation of punishment because it's almost like that's actually what I'm more afraid of the thing happening than it ever happens, right? It's the anticipation. So like this almost for me, this little part of, this is like around minute 45 when he said this. It just like, it kind of showed me like my fear and where it's originating from. I'm afraid of the anticipation of punishment. That's my actual real fear. And like, it took me a minute to like really like dissect and write that out. And it's just very exciting to like get to the root of my fear. So like when parents take the kid, like I'm certain there's a monster lurking in the closet. I am certain that my mind, I'm certain that I'm going to be punished. I'm certain that God's going to come and get me or something, I'm going to get in trouble. But when my parents, or let's say my parent, let's call it Jesus, takes me to the closet, I'm terrified, but the closet is the mind. right? The closet is the mind. But only when I allowed my parents or Jesus to open the closet door and I see that nothing is there, that's when I'm peaceful. So Jesus is our spiritual parent. But my fear of basically like my anticipation of punishment prevents me from letting Jesus be my teacher. And instead I demand that Jesus fix the illusion, which is actually a projection of the problem, which has nothing to do with the root. And that's the reason Jesus continually asks us to let him help, and realizes that nightmares are not to be feared, but simply looked at without judgment. There is no guilt, so there can be no punishment. Thank you.
I like that rounded.
Right. There is no guilt, so there can be no punishment. So like that is like the best news I heard all day. That's just a piece. That's just like a little piece of the notes I got. That's my 3 minutes. But man, this is some good stuff. There's way more I could share, but that's what I got. Who's next? What was your highlights from this 30 minutes? Who wants to go next?
Yo.
Nathan. Let's go.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The destructive thoughts we have power in the dream to cover over the memory of love. But that's an illusion. Dun-dun-dun. I like this one. Don't be content with the empty thought system of hate and alienation. So don't be content with all of the things that we get wrapped up with here in the world, solving problems, making money, stacks of cash. Oh yeah, we seek the solution for hate and injustice outside the world, never looking at its source and its cause, which is in the mind. As long as it remains hidden, it ensures that it will always be hidden, that is. And yeah, so it's a distraction, right? It's an illusion. We are so sure we perceive problems out in the world that we know, and that we know the answers to them. And I see this happen all the time. Friends of mine who, or even me, you know, like see problems in the world and then like, why are those people making these problems? I know that they need to stop, that kind of thing. And then my last one, our guilt demands that we be destroyed, but there's nothing there. It's the anticipation that's the problem. I just had to repeat that. It's a good one. That's it.
Yeah, that was huge, man. That anticipation of punishment is like
it's like
core of everything.
We all know what that feeling is like, because pain is always worse when you're anticipating than when it always happens. You know, it's really scary right before you go to the dentist, or right before you have to do the test or the workout or whatever, and then actually doing it is usually not as bad.
Yep. It's so cool, man. Love it. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks.
All right, with 47 seconds to spare, folks. Well done. Okay, who's next? What was your highlights from chapter 12?
I could go.
Okay, Marianne, go ahead.
Yeah, I love what you and Nathan both said about that anticipation factor increasing the pain of life. Really, if you could just take that part of it out, it wouldn't be so bad. But
yep.
And yeah, I also, Jared, really thought this little 30 minutes of this lecture was just so full of incredible, mind-blowing sentences, and it was hard to keep up. So I actually listened to it several times. Actually realizing that 2 weeks ago I was commenting on this 30 minutes when I was supposed to.
Interesting.
But anyway, I really liked this statement, don't be content with the empty thought system of this world, because I remember reading that in the course and feeling so validated by that as if Jesus came to me and said, you're right to feel despair in this life. You know, it sort of reframed my whole life of emptiness and depression in a totally different way, where I used to think, oh, what's wrong with me? You know, there's so many beautiful things and this world is so beautiful. And why, you know, why do I see emptiness and despair everywhere?
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful relief to read those words, as if Jesus himself was saying, you're on the right track to be depressed, you know, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, and also really helpful for me when Ken was outlining how we could reduce everything down to either love or a call for love.
Yes.
And that simplicity is so useful for me to use throughout my day.
Yes.
And so I've been using it a lot this week. I find it easier to apply to individuals. It's really helpful, but a little more complicated to apply to a situation. And I think maybe there's a sort of a fog still in my mind around how do you forgive a situation where, you know, I can forgive people, you know, somewhat by seeing them as a call for help, their behavior as a call for help. But when it's a situation, say at school, that has hurt my daughter, or if it's the global warming or the environment or an animal hit on the side of the road or something, like, I'm not sure yet how to forgive that or how to see that as a call for love. So that's sort of my goal, is to sort of get more clear on how to forgive everything.
I love it. I mean, that's honest, you know, that's really honest. It's like, that's like you're able to do it in some scenarios. In other scenarios, it's still like, you know, shaky, and that's part of the process. I mean, this is not an instant, you know, thing. Call it the holy instant, but it's lots of instants that we have to, I guess you could say, forgive and grow through. So I think you're definitely on the right track. And you know, I wish I could give you all the answers to your questions about those scenarios, but I'm really not the guy for that. Like, I think Gary's better to answer those types of things. And I don't want to get too far into it on this call, but no, thank you for sharing with like what kind of like what those things are, and also great content. You know, it's so true. This shabby world that is just not worth. They say for the not worth like the son, the Christ is like, this is a horrible gift for the Christ, you know, the Son of God, like type thing. You know, we think it is great, but anyway, thank you so much, Marianne.
Thank you.
Nathan Lively, could you please send a message to Linda Pettigrew? She's having trouble getting on. I can't help her. I tried texting her. Anyway, thanks, my bro. I know you're friends with her. So, all right, who's next? What are your thoughts, top highlights from chapter 12, second 30 minutes?
Can you hear me, Jared?
Yes, Susan.
Hi, I'll go.
Take it away.
Okay. So thank you. I love those last three shares. Oh my gosh. And I also am struggling with just what the last, I don't remember your name. I'm so sorry. The last person said about, Marianne, thank you. Thank you. I apologize. About certain things I can certainly forgive very easily, and other things I'm struggling with and sort of don't quite understand how they fit in the context of all of this. So that's so true for me. What I love chapter 12, by the way. I love it. And one thing that was really helpful to me was it said, I don't know if I can articulate it, talking about you have to realize that the hatred is in your mind and not outside of you. And that is huge for me, because it's, again, when I'm walking around the world and things are so challenging and so difficult, and I want to judge, right? And I want to be angry and I don't understand. It's really helpful me to remember, okay, wait a minute, that's not even real, right? That hatred or that judgment is not outside of me. It's in my mind, and I have the power to heal that and to change that and to control that. So that's really been something I've been thinking about, working on, and it's really helped me.
Love it. So true.
Thanks.
Great
Yeah,
stuff, Lynn. Susan. Sorry, I was thinking about
that's
Lynn.
my share.
Love it.
No
Share.
problem.
I also love what you had to say about like, I don't know, it just kind of jogged my memory on the concept that this whole world is just an ego projection. It's like we're
Yes.
viewing this projection, and in like the reality of this projection is that it's neutral, right? So there's like this body and that body and your body and all these bodies and this table and this glass and this chair. It's neither good nor bad. It's neither guilty nor innocent. Like it's like they said. You remember the part of the course where they say it's like a piece of wood. The body's no different
Yep.
than a piece of wood. That's what always gets me, because we think that we have so much charge around. We think we're bodies, and that's like kind of fun.
Right.
Like
I know.
And so like I don't know. I think we're all progressing to that point where we're like not seeing it like that as much anymore. And so,
For sure.
Thank you for sharing
And
that.
thank heavens. Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Go ahead.
I'll go next real quick, even though I didn't read it, but I love everyone's shares, and it just always reminds me of like the first miracle principle. Like I had to look it up because I'm bad at memorizing things. Like I cannot do that. I'm just awful at that. But it's like there's no order of difficulties in miracles. Like can you imagine reading that like the first? No wonder we all put that book down, right? Like, what the world are they talking about? One's what harder or bigger than another. They're all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. So I love that because it's like so easy to be like, oh, well, I can't forgive my husband, but I can forgive my dog, or whatever, all these things. But they're really all just the same. It reminds me of another line, like, again, I'm bad at quoting and where it came from exactly, but it's in the course that says, who would feel good except knowing that they're not even really here, something sort of along that lines, or that this isn't real and that we're not here. That's really the only way you can be joyful. And really, if the whole thing is a complete projection, then there's nothing even out there. There's nothing to save. There's actually really even nothing to forgive, if you really could even get to that point. But
that's true.
But you'll hear if we get around to it, and we have time, we'll talk about my forgiveness in the field. How you just like go up and down, and then you're like, you can do it, and then you don't, and it's the same for everybody. We're all like just learning. So, but I love that, no order of difficulties and miracles.
That's a great one. Great point. That's a great answer to what Marianne had to say.
I don't know if that fits with chapter 12. I don't know what chapter 12 says. I like open the book to different things, like, because I've read it like a gazillion times now. Like most of the time I didn't know what it said.
No, I totally agree. And that was a great timely answer. Thank you. All right. Who's next? We have still several people that we need to hear from.
I probably talked too fast too for our friend in
sorry,
Bogota.
Katarina.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Does anyone want to share? You can unmute yourself or raise your hand. Oh, Barbara. Okay. Barbara. I'm going to unmute you, Barbara. Okay.
Thanks, Jared.
Yes.
I tell you what, I'm going to start on the second of my 3 pages because I'll never get through in 3 minutes. But I'm starting here because I thought this was a very profound idea that we didn't touch on it yet. But there is a consensus where most of the 8 billion people on the earth living here today, they agree that the only reality there is outside of us. I mean, you go up on Times Square and you ask one person after another, and everybody's going to say that that's true. However, Jesus is pleading with us to look at the nightmare outside and let him help us realize it is a projection of what we are harboring inside, and that it is something we have in fact made up, and it's not reality at all. The reason we're afraid to look within is because the ego has told us that we will find God's vengeance there, and he will destroy us for our sin of separating from him. And we need to know that we have never separated from him, and therefore we're not guilty of anything, any sin, and are still currently one with God in love eternally. Heaven is real and exists now, right now. So while there is seeming turmoil all around us all the time, we must learn to turn to the quiet place within and rest there instead of where we are, and instead where we are eternally safe. This is the key to waking up from our nightmare. We need to ask for help in understanding that all of our problems in the world are stemming from the error we have made within, and ask the Holy Spirit for correction. This Course in Miracles is therefore a method of offering to the Holy Spirit everything we do not want. He knows what to do with it, and we don't know what he knows. Whatever is given to him, that is not of that. Whatever is given of him that's not of God is gone. Illusions disappear when you bring them to the truth. Looking at the ego's thought system and returning to the truth is the name of the game, just like not looking at the ego's thought system is the ego's name of the game. So the whole world was made in order to confuse us as to where the problem is. And the secret vow we made to the ego is to look outside and see guilt in everyone else so we don't see it inside. Also, keep seeking outside so we don't see what we're looking for inside. The Holy Spirit offers another promise, one that will lead us to joy. And his promise is seek and you will find. First, we will find the answer to our problem, and then we will find the love that we thought we would never see again. He is teaching us to see the world differently by knowing each problem is truly non-existent. Ego's interpretation is always about being attacked and justification to attack back. This has its origin in the seeming attack in God, in God, which never happened. It's all a distortion because our original error has not yet been brought to light. We need a different way of interpreting. The only interpretation that makes any sense, according to the Holy Spirit, is no interpretation at all, but simply accepting what is. Every loving thought is true, and everything else is an appeal for help and healing, regardless of the form it takes. And this reduces everything in the world to one basic, simple perception. Everything is either an experience of love or else it's a call for love. It's simple because the response is always love. This totally undoes all the ego's perception of wrongdoing. Only frightened people are vicious. And this is because they fear what they've thrown, that they feel that they've thrown love away, or that love is going to punish them. But we must ask for help to perceive everything in the world with love.
Yes, we must ask for help. We must continually ask for help. That's the best way to end it, because it's like we get all this, we learn all this, we read our book. I know me, I read all my book and I'm all in this great mind space. And then my wife like makes me mad, like immediately, like, you know, like as soon as I'm done, you know, or something happens and I'm judging right away, you know, it's like, but what you said is, I mean, you were going fast because you wanted to give us so much, and I love what you said. And it is so cool to actually know what's going on, right? Like the workings that, like they call it, the secret dream, where we're not aware of this thought system that underlies these bodies that we think we are, and we don't even know that we are a mind. We don't even know that we don't even know that until this study, you know, and so it's like totally clueless until we get to this point. So awesome stuff, Barbara, man. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next person who would like to share. What were your highlights from chapter 12? Lori says, I didn't take any notes on Ken's talk. I'll do better next time. Okay, Lori, no problem. No guilt, okay? There is no guilt, okay? You don't need to feel guilty. There's no Course in Miracles police that's going to come get you. But yes, definitely next time we can have you share. Okay. Does anyone else want to share? Who haven't we heard from? Oh, Nina. Okay, I just unmuted you, Nina. Go ahead.
I haven't read the book yet. I don't even have it, but two things that come to mind. One of them is when I was listening to Ken talk on a video, he said even the mere breath that we take is an ego-related experience or thought or whatever. And then when I was chatting with David Hoffmeister, and he said, you know, there's no difference between a baby and a button. And so when you get into that, and I know that I've said that a few times to my partner, and at first he was like, I don't know what that means. But as he starts to unwind his mind, as we all are, you really start to see the actual freedom in either a baby or a button, or the mere breath that we take is a complete, you know, like against God, against the truth of what we are. And I know that's a lot to handle, but we can't, there's no compromise in that, you know. And if you look at it from the ego standpoint, you can feel a lot of, you know, arguing and fighting back in the mind, but you're like, no compromise here, dude. Like, it's a breath, it's a button, it's a baby. It's just the meaning that I'm giving it. So I just find that interesting. I know that that might not be chapter 12, but it seems that there's threads of that in there, you know.
That's chapter 12.
Okay.
Love it. Sorry, I'm having some sushi, guys.
Mm.
And you can have sushi too. You can be honest. You can have a beer. You can have some sushi. You don't have to feel guilty, and you can. Just letting you know. All right. But thank you, Nina. So true. I mean, like it's all neutral. And the breath and all the magic, you know, the food, the breathing, like we try and say, oh, I'm going to be spiritual. I'm not going to do magic. Even thinking we're here is magic, right? So it's all about just looking at the dream, the projection without judgment. And you know how they say projection makes perception? Well, that's when we're looking through the ego's eyes. But extension makes perception when we look through the Holy Spirit's eyes, because when we stop projecting, all that's left is love. Only thing left is love. And so we can feel this very peaceful state, even in this world where it's like, oh, I didn't kill God. You know, I didn't sin. There's no one coming to get me. I'm not even here. I'm just peaceful. There is this dream that's still going on for the time being, but it's, it's not real. It's just like a very peaceful thing. And I've definitely, well, I'll save my share for later, but yeah, I mean, really great stuff. And all, no, not yet. All the, all the stuff is related, right? Like they say, the course is holographic in nature. So chapter 12 is just the same as all the other chapters. It's just we're getting it in different, let's say, form, but the content is always the same. So thank you, Nina. All right. Did we get everybody? Oh, Carolina. Okay, I'm gonna mute you. Oh, and Matt. Okay, go ahead, Carolina. Hold on.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
I want, like Barbara, read a part, but my book is in Spanish, so it's not a good idea. But the part is about the adjustment. Yeah.
Okay.
Almost for me was so easy if a situation or person say a thing is good, is bad. But nowadays, I'm really trying to forgive, remember all the time. I read this book. I don't know, it's about Sisyphus. It's the book of Kenneth Wapnick. Is about Sisyphus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really good. And in this book, he all the time say, you need to think if you want to see every situation or every person, if you want to see with fear or with love. And it's important all the time, think with the Holy Spirit, because if you speak with the Holy Spirit, you will with the wrong way, with the fear, and your result, your final result, I don't know if it's the word, is bad.
Yes.
But if you speak and you say all the time, Holy Spirit, please help me, please I don't know, in Spanish, maybe it's ayúdame, help me, is a good
Yes.
idea.
Yes.
So this is all. Thanks.
Thank you, Carolina. I love the la futilidad de felicidad. I think the
No.
book in English is called what?
De la futilidad a la felicidad.
Okay, de la futilidad. I think the book in English is called The Absence of Felicity.
Yeah. Okay.
But in Espanol, I think it's better. I think the title's better in Espanol. I really do. Thank you, Carolina. I really appreciate your share. It's awesome to have you. Keep up the great work.
Gracias.
All right. Okay, Matt, go ahead, my man. I just go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, yeah, I just got what I was thinking about. But basically, it's like seek, and do not find, how you get stuck with the ego. And I just get that I'm not a squirrel chasing a nut. I'm like, I just figure it out, and like you run yourself in circles, and then you find out when you start to think with love that everything starts to clear up. It's just so much easier. Like you said, that you can't even sin. It's not possible. And it's easier to forgive that way, and that nobody did anything wrong. It's not even possible. And so it just makes life a little bit easier. So, I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet. So.
Love it. It's so true, man. It's very freeing, you know, and then it's like, okay, I can just be happy and go try and build my business, or go do my job, or go be with my family. I don't have to like worry too much about all that. I probably should still show up for work, but you know, like there's just like the underlying like angst is decreased because of this knowledge. So very, very true. Thank you, Matt. Okay, JP Fajardo, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you all. I couldn't make it last Friday, and it is what it is. You know, I didn't read or see the video this week, but I was thinking when you were sharing something very interesting, a concept that helped me a lot when we started with the book, with the Course in Miracles some years ago. It was, you need your ego to function in the world. You need your memory, you need your knowledge, you need to know how to get home. If you go to work, you need your ego for the world. The difference is how much do you identify with that ego that operates in the world or in the dream, and making that distinction of levels. It brings the whole idea of asking the Holy Spirit for help to dissolve the ego, because you, through your ego, through the effort, will not be able to make it. So that helped me a lot when I was reading the book and understanding the concepts of, yes, I need my memory, I need my body to function in this world, in this dream, but it's how I identify with that. That's what I wanted to share today.
You're right. We do need our ego thing, like our ego mechanism to, I mean, like it's really futile to feel bad that we think we're bodies. And that you're right, that we do need that, and we can still wake up from the dream and appear to be that right now until I guess we die, or die in the dream, whatever. But like, I think it's definitely great that you said that, so it reduces the guilt, right? Like anything to reduce the guilt and to be able to keep taking the next step, right? I mean, until it's just like, then that's not even an issue later on. It's like, you don't even think about that, because it's like, I don't know, it's like part of the progression. But thank you, my bro. Very true. I got you on Instagram. Don't worry. You'll be on my Instagram story. I'm going to take off the audio though. I'm not going to put on, yeah, it'll be muted. It'll be, you know, part of the job.
That's
Thanks,
fine.
bro. Thank you, man. Okay. So I think we gotten through everybody. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 people. Okay, we're going to do 2 minutes. 2 minutes of forgiveness in the field. This is the juiciest part of the call. But before we do that, let's get to a commercial break. Commercial break. Saturday, April 5th. Is it 5th? 4th. Saturday, April 4th. Gary Renard is going to be in San Antonio at the Brick at Blue Star. Tickets are $75 if you buy on early bird special. And that is through, I believe, the first week of March. So get your ticket like ASAP. Tell your friends. Make a weekend. Come hang out with me and Sue-Ann and all of you who are coming to San Antonio. We're going to have a badass day. Oops, there's the timer. And we're going to hang with Gary Renard for like all day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And then the Riverwalk.
And then we'll probably go off the Riverwalk and do a dinner or something, whoever wants to come. So that's the commercial. So go to
Sign up today.
Sign up today. Act now. But wait, there's more. Just kidding. Okay, so let's go on to forgiveness in the field. Okay. We do 2 minutes. Here we go. Okay, so forgiveness in the field for me is a lot about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant dying. You know, obviously, we all know Kobe Bryant. Some of you probably love him a lot like I do. Some of you probably don't even know or really care that much about, you know, that athlete. But when that happened, when he died on Saturday or on Sunday, I was just like, it just really hit me, man. Like it was like losing a family member. I think it's because I'm a big sports fan. I've watched him throughout my whole growing up. We're the same age. So I just always loved him, always admired him. You know, I know he had his strengths and weaknesses, his dark moment. I mean, when you're growing up in front of the whole world, every mistake you make is like amplified and magnified. And so I really got just like right back into the body. Like I was just watching all of the Kobe Bryant coverage. I was just like totally body identification. I was just, I didn't even try and get out of it. I was just like, I just needed to kind of be there. I just needed to like mourn in a way. And then I like called my sister and I was sad because I was like, well, I'm going to call my family. And my sister's like, Kobe Bryant's a rapist and la la la. And my sister's like the whole other side of it, right? So I saw that must be a call for love from my sister, right? So it's much better for me not to argue with my sister and see that it's a call for love and that know that she hasn't forgiven that part of herself some way, somehow, if she can't forgive Kobe for that, right? Like, and not judge my sister, not try and start an argument. So that's probably my biggest success was that I didn't like get in an argument with my sister about that. So there you go. There's my 2 minutes. It's a work in progress. I still find myself watching Kobe Bryant videos every night. You know.
Good work, Jared.
Thanks, guys. All right. Who's next? Forgiveness in the field.
Heyo.
Take it away, my man.
Yeah. So this quarter, I've decided to focus on a software project I've been working on for a year. And I set this big goal to like, I'm going to get 10,000 users, take over the world. And then I just set up some expert interviews this week. And through a series of expert interviews and then looking back at my original research, I realized that it's probably not really a market for this project that I've been working on. So that was a big hit to my ego to just sort of come to understand that. And intellectually, I kind of knew like, okay, moving forward, next step, whatever needs to happen next project or whatever. But emotionally, I was like, shit, I wanted to, experience, I want to be right, like that's what the ego wants, right? To be happy is to be right. So I've been doing forgiveness around that and doing a lot of rules for decision practice and reading still. And that's been my forgiveness in the field this week.
Way to go, Nathan.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks when you work really hard on a project and then you realize that it needs to be completely changed or altered or abandoned because of the market or whatever. I've also been through things like that in my business. So I just want to, I don't know, like even though we're in the ego world, like I just want to give you encouragement that that you'll find the next niche that can really can go in the illusion. And I think the less judgment and sadness around it will help you move on, which is what the course will do, you know?
Yeah, thank you. I've been really just trying to use it as a reminder that inspired ideas come from a quiet mind, and I'm here to be led by the Holy Spirit and not force things, but really try to be relaxed about it and not try to squeeze the world, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Awesome, my bro. Great stuff. Thank you for sharing. Okay.
I'll go next.
Sue-Ann.
Okay, so y'all kind of know where I sort of come from. That actually, it's the course and the Holy Spirit and everything that comes to meet us where we are. So it always meets me where I am, and even if I'm thinking I'm a body, that's where it is. And so that's where all my lessons are. And when they talk about the decision maker, so I go into the mind, and that's when I can flip over. I'm either looking with the ego or I'm looking with the Holy Spirit, and the whole thing is completely like projected out. So I get like experiences of that. And what a lot of times has happened for me then is with the script being written, I a lot of times hear what the week is going to be like, what the day is going to be like. Sometimes I'm told like as I go along, and yet it's not like really like Jesus, find me a parking spot. It's not really like that. It's more like I listen for like what's the smoothest path. And so, being all that said, that in literally the last month, I was hearing things, especially like in business and some things that I'm trying to do, that it would tell me it was going to go slower than I thought. So then it was so funny because then like my ego is like, no, I wanted to, they even like what Nathan was just saying, I want to be a certain way, I want to be at a certain time, this is my agenda. And everyone better listen to my agenda. And so, but instead I was hearing this other voice, like the calm voice, not that screaming one, but the calm one that's like, no, this is what's going to happen for this month, or this is what's going to happen for this week. And I'd be like, no. And so like I fought it the whole way. And guess what happened? Exactly what it said. And, but on my end, I was upset the whole time. So I like almost had to go through like a whole month of that. And I don't usually do a long period of that, but it was just like people know dark night of the soul or whatever. So that was like my time period. So we all are going to go through these things. And so, I've been much better in the last few days. Like now I hear those same things about it being slower, but I'm just going with it. Because what can you do? I mean, like the script is written, and so I'm fighting against it. It's like, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sue-Ann. Well, not everybody has your intuitive like way to see things. Like, but at the end of the day, you still have to forgive stuff.
Still have to forgive.
It's like even with your
no
like
different.
special power of that, like you still have to forgive. Like, yeah.
And what I found is like everybody has this abilities. It's just like, are you more in touch with it or not? But regardless or not, it's exactly the same thing. We're all the same.
It's true.
Still have to forgive. That's
right.
it.
Thank you. All right. Who's next? Forgiveness in the field. What did you forgive this week? In 2 minutes or less.
2 minutes or less.
Who wants to go? You can unmute yourself or raise your hand. Oh, Barbara, go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Barbara.
Okay, so I was triggered. I'm in a group of 7 women, all on a different spiritual path, coming from all different areas, from the east and the west and the north and the south. We all want to find God, and we're all okay. So there was an article that somebody sent, and it had to do with spiritual bypassing, and that really triggered me because I know there's trauma, that I have trauma that I'm not addressing in the course. I also watch a program on the internet called Buddha at the Gas Pump, a fascinating program. Rick Archer interviews an awakened person a couple of times a month, and he's interviewed 543 of them. And the last one he interviewed, I listened to for 2 hours. She works in Bali, and she does a lot of trauma. She awakened in 1991, and I just resonated with her journey. So I reached out, and I may be working with her. I mean, I still value the course, but I'm looking to heal trauma. I know we all have trauma, but mine has hurt it's taken up a big chunk of my happiness in life. And I still haven't found a method of healing. So anyway, I as far as the forgiveness, I was so angry with the group that I just felt they were attacking me by spiritual bypassing of the course. And I wrote an email saying that I'm quitting the group. But I didn't send it. I said, you know what? I think I'll go in person and I'll tell them I'm quitting. And when I told them where I was coming from, they said, if you leave, you would break my heart.
Aww.
And it just like turned me around. I'm definitely in the group. I'm not quitting it. And I forgave it. I mean, I had like a real, like, going from leaving and feeling rejected and feeling angry and I don't belong here to I belong here so damn much.
That's cool. Thank you so much, Barbara. That's big time, man. Glad you didn't send that email.
Yeah. I told them about it.
Well, we would all love to see that email. Just kidding. But thank you for sharing. That is awesome. I mean, that's big time, man, that you made you made up with them and you accepted them where they're at in their journey. And
it's a great group.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's great. And you have your other opportunity to work with the enlightened person. And I mean, rock on, Barbara. Keep it up. All that work is paying off, obviously. So thank you for sharing. Okay, who's next? What did you forgive, or who did you forgive?
I can go next.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I guess last week I wrote something about my puppy, you know, and get sick of talking about him, but it's just like just so many issues, and like there's just tons of things at work and other things like Barbara too. Like I have all kinds of other things, lifetimes and lifetimes of things that you need to deal with. And at least I think my training though is finally helping. It's like I'm not upset for the reason I think. I mean, all these little sayings just come back to me. You know, the mind training it's working, and I just like Barbara, you know, things from the past that I just, you know, what brought me to here 10 years ago, and I forgot about it, and I'm back again, and I'm just like, I just cannot fall back to sleep, and you know, it's just a daily process. And when I get up at, I used to get up at like 4:30 in the morning and go do my run. Now I get up at 10 like 3:50 a.m. to get going to do my lesson of the day. And then when you go down and you find your puppy's kennel is full of number 2, and you got to clean it up at 4 in the morning, and then you bump your knee, you know, do that, and you're just like, and it's just like all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I'm not upset for the reason I think. Try to calm down and just go on with your day. And you know, it's just it's a work in progress. I know. I think it's that time of year too where it's just dark. For where I've been, it's been dark and cold, and I'm ready for spring. And I think it just weighs on you too, and lack of sun, and it just like, so dark nights of the soul could be, you know, just more prevalent this time of year. And so my forgiveness in the field is my puppy. Next week I hope it's something different, because we've tried some new medications and food, and it seems to be working so far. And
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Matt. Love it, man. That puppy, he's your best forgiveness opportunity. Love it, love it, love it. You know, you really made me think about the idea of, you know, it's like digging your well before you're thirsty. You know, like read the course while you don't have too much upsets going on, so that when you do are in that situation, you have the mind training and you have the you know, that part of the chapter 12, he talks about spiritual maturity, and like instead of being a child, like a spiritual child, we become spiritual adults, you know, when we do the course. And it's like, yeah, man, just that's what you're doing. So thank you, Matt. Great stuff. All right. Who's next? Who did you forgive? What did you forgive? What juicy details do you have for us?
I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, you go first. I think I interrupted somebody.
I heard Susan, and then I don't know who else was trying to go. Who else was trying to go? Susan, go ahead.
I was, but I'll wait.
Okay, I'm here.
Susan, then Lori.
Okay.
Susan, then Lori. Go ahead.
Okay. So what happened to me was, it was just such a revelation. It was so profound, a profound moment for me, because it really just reinforced the fact that, boy, this stuff works, man, because I am a real estate appraiser, and I appraised a home, and it was so sad. And sometimes you see these difficult situations, and there was trash everywhere, and I was walking on the trash and the clothes, and it smelled like urine, and there were 2 dogs in a very difficult situation, and a little child who was swearing at me. I mean, it was so sad. And I had to do this appraisal, and I was leaving afterwards. So the energy that I was sitting in there for a couple hours was just, wow, it was profound. And certainly I think fortunate to not have to live in that sort of energy. But as I was driving away, I could not believe how I was able to just send that whole family, including the dogs, which is a killer for me, because the animal stuff will take me down. I mean, it will just take me out. And I could send them all love. And it was just because of this course that I didn't have to leave that situation saying, blah, 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 you know, why is this and why is that and why did she do this and why did she say, you know, just steeped in judgment, and then go tell everybody what I experienced. And I just drove away just knowing that they couldn't do any better, that they were doing the best that they could, that in reality it's all an illusion and I'm not really even experiencing this anyway, but just sending light to them. And I just thought, thank you, course, because otherwise I would have been in a tizzy for a week over that, because it was really something hard to see. So that's my moment.
Yay. Can we have a round of applause for Susan Meadows, everybody?
I was applauding.
Man, that's big time. Big time.
It did feel big time for me. Yeah. I was so grateful, because honestly, if I would have tried this situation 6 months ago, forget about it. You know, I wouldn't have been able to. Yeah. So thank you.
Great job. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay. Lori, go ahead. Forgiveness in the field.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. I wasn't prepared because this is my first call, but as I've been thinking about it, I realized that I was just trying to think back on the week and things that have come up, which they come up every day. But my biggest forgiveness opportunities come up with my family and one person I work with, who's just a really, really nice person, but totally incompetent. And so it's just a daily, you know, this is what it is, and my getting upset about it or wishing that it would change is not going to change anything. And I found just over the last couple months that I've really been getting back into the course, and I would say diligently. I would say like starting over to be diligent every day, or trying to be diligent, is that my life has gotten a lot more peaceful. And I'm not as judgmental of people and things. And I don't know if things have actually changed or if it's just my perception of things changing. So anyway, I don't get upset about things that I used to get upset about. I just kind of accept them. And one of the lines that I remember from reading Disappearance of a Course in Disappearance of the Universe is, I forgive you for what you didn't do. I forgive myself for dreaming you up. I release us both to the Holy Spirit. And that's almost my mantra every day.
Yeah, Lori. Great job. Man, you're just nailing it left and right. Oh, and you did it under 2 minutes even.
Wow.
Great job.
Woohoo.
Congratulations on all your success you're having with the course and for being on your first call. Super glad you're here. Hope you're able to continue to be on.
Me too. I'm actually at work. 5 o'clock is not a great time in Los Angeles, but I will do my darndest.
That's right. I know it's early, early for you. Okay, thank you. And we have Nina and I think JP and Carolina still. Oh, and Marianne too. Wait. We have like all these people still? All right, let's go. 2 minutes. Who's next? Oh, all right, Nina. I'm gonna unmute you. Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
one thing when you were talking about Kobe, and I thought that was interesting because when all that was occurring in the Facebook and I was getting messages and I could feel myself kind of getting irritated because I'm like, dang, we are so lost in this ego and celebrities and the people and the seemingly separated being bullshit, you know? And then I thought, okay, hold on, sister. There are actual like individuals out there, like his family or friends that don't have the awareness that we have. And so how can I be of value here? And so I just stopped and I got very still and I just held that space for truth for myself, obviously, because there is only the one mind, but just held that space and thought that's how I can be of value, is by holding that space so that that can be triggered or their little bell can be rung in whatever way it's supposed to be for them to alleviate the suffering or to have a clearer understanding of whatever it is for them, you know? And I felt like, okay, that's what you can do with that initial, you know, shard of judgment that wants to come out. You can be of value here. So that's what I did.
Yeah, way to go. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the truest value we can give to this world is to wake up and do the forgiveness work and to be, you know, to wake up from the dream. That's the biggest contribution. Like being on this call is like or anytime we spend studying the course, it's like the best contribution we can make. Even if we never like talk to anyone about it. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Nina. Great stuff. Okay, who's next? We still have, okay, Carolina, go ahead. I just unmuted you. You might have to unmute yourself. There you go. Okay.
In my job, I usually have meetings without the company. And when I return to my job, I usually need to speak with my boss to speak about the meetings, which are our work. But the 90% of the times tell me, no, you can't wait, it's not important, I need to do other things. And I believe, and I think, well, I do a good job, I don't understand. And yesterday was the last time. So yesterday, after I speak with my boss, I was thinking, okay, what happened? And then I told that all my partners and me, we believe that we are the most important job in the world, what is the most important things. But then I think, well, probably 100%, that I forgot that this is just a dream. It's not important. I do my best, but if no, maybe for the other person it's not the best, it's not important. I do my best and I need to remember all the time that this is just a dream. Thanks.
Yes. Good job, Carolina.
Thanks.
That's big time. It is. It's just a dream. We all want to be successful in our careers and our jobs and everything, and we want it so bad. Trust me, I know. And yeah, it definitely helps to remember that, right? And then you still have to show up to work. You still have to do the stuff, interact with everybody, but you are different. You are more relaxed. You're happier, you know? So thank you. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay.
Speaking about dreams, I'll go next.
All right.
So very funny week. I've been dreaming about hanging out with women. I don't know. And sometimes I don't know who those women are. Sometimes I knew. So one of these dreams was about one of my best friends. And we've known each other since we were 7 years old. But I remember the dream while I was driving to work. And during when I was remembering, the thought came to me that I need to let go, and I felt this empathy, this love that okay, I let go, and I think it was very interesting. That was my forgiveness moment of the week when I was ready to say internally, let go. And we are distant, somehow distant, um, uh, for whatever reason, but that was my forgiveness moment for this week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, with the opposite sex and all that stuff is like there's so much like guilt built in somehow from the dream, and you know, dispelling that guilt and becoming aware of it and watching it without judgment is probably like some of the best, like most freeing part of the journey. So great job, my man. It's awesome progress. All right, I think that's it. Is that everybody? I think so. Okay. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for everyone who's watching the recording. And next week, we will be discussing the minutes 60 through 90 of the video. If you want to be like right on with the video. The video is found in the pinned post of our Facebook group. So if you go in the Facebook group, it's at the very top post. It's like always there. It's like a permanently at the top post. And it's got the whole plan, like every week what we're studying. Also, we have when Gary's going to be the guest again. I don't remember which day. I think it's in early March. Gary Renard will be back, or actually it might be late February. Anyway, go check the pin post. But this book goes along with the video. So you don't need this book. You can just watch the video. But if you want to be extra, get this book and go to facim.org, Foundation of A Course in Miracles.org. You can get all 4 of these books for like, I think it's like $68 or something like that, plus shipping. But it's so exciting when like you get your box in the mail and it's like your Ken Wapnick books. You know what I'm talking about. So, all right, that's what I have for you. Thank you guys and gals for watching. Let's go ahead and I'm going to unmute all of you right now and say good night and God bless.
Good night and
Good
God
night.
bless.
Good night and God bless.
Ciao.
Good night. God bless.
Adios.
Night.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.